30 degrees.
It's Indianapolis Center. Do you have any test operations restricted area 2508?
Aries 31, roger. Traffic is quite luminous and is exhibiting some non-ballistic motion, over.
Roger, Aries 31. Continue to descend at your discretion, over.
Okay, Center. The traffic is approaching head-on, ultra bright, and really moving. They're right by us right now.
There are 1,000 UFO sightings reported around the world every month. 90% of these sightings can be explained, but 10% cannot. Officially and unofficially, the U.S. military has been investigating UFOs since 1947. Their top secret goal is to find out what's behind these unexplained sightings. The Pentagon classifies them as unusual airborne anomalies, but a better term is X-Files. Join us now as Mack, Wanwan, and Commander Cobra explore these unsolved cases, UFO incidents that baffle even the U.S. military. This is Mack Maloney's Military X-Files. And now, here's Mack Maloney.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Mack Maloney's Military X-Files show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. This is Mack Maloney. What a show we have for you tonight. But first, let me introduce the members of the posse. Girls, get ready. Sit yourself down. Get your fan, get your mister, get your big box of Kleenex, your big box of wipe, your squeegee, and your lube, because the very famous Wanwan is here.
Hey, Macaroni, what's happening?
I can't
Hello,
believe
girls. Hello,
through.
ladies. And all ships at sea, welcome to the show again. Love being here and look forward to it every day.
Mm-hmm.
Wish we did the show every day.
Wouldn't that be something?
That would be great.
I don't think so. I mean, it's a week recovery time as it is now.
It is.
Anyway.
You got that right.
Okay, so, I have to ask you, have you got the towel behind you laundered yet, or is that just going to...
No, it's still, I can't, they're up, it's up there with push pins. I can't pull them out. They're so tight.
Well, all right. We'll
they're
put
not
them in
called
there.
pull pins. They're called push pins for a reason.
Okay. We'll put them in there. Superman?
I did. Not with a hammer either.
Okay. Well, as Curly says...
I don't know if I'm going to take it with me to the UK. You know why? Because I want the others to continue to experience my room as it is. I'm not going to take my Keith Richards shrine there on my mantelpiece.
Yes.
With the shirts and Stones 45 RPM records and everything, all Stones all the time over there.
All Stones all the
behind
time.
Behind my right shoulder.
Super. Well, they'll welcome you with open arms, I think, there, Wani, once you get to the UK.
So.
Anyway.
And I do believe that there are others living in here. If you've seen the movie, you know what I mean.
Oh, the others. Oh, wow. Huh? What?
Yeah.
Where? In your house now?
Yeah, sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Others is a crazy movie, man. That's kind of a frightening movie, and there's Nicole in it. Anyway.
Nicole was awesome in that movie. I think she has like 98% screen time in that movie.
Yeah. Yeah, she was trying to forget Tom Cruise and his tooth. But listen, let's move on. No Coco tonight. He's out saving the world. However, we went out and had a few drinks after the show last week. A post-show debriefing at Margaritas. Yeah, yep. He was up dancing on the bar about an hour in,
That's the way to go.
as usual. But anyway, sideways, why don't we go sideways on the totem pole up to sideways in the eye, because our favorite good witch, Raven, is with us. Raven, how are you tonight, Raven?
Hi, my friends. I'm doing great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Raven. How are you?
Hi. I just found out about Nicole Kidman. Apparently, she wears a lot of wigs.
Well, wait.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Yeah, I always thought it was her real hair. Apparently, she regularly wears wigs.
Really? Well, they're all redhead.
Pulls it off. It looks great.
Yeah.
I don't know what her real hair is. I assume that sometimes when she shows up at the
I think
Academy
it's
Awards, it's her real
strawberry
hair. But
blonde.
yeah.
Like that really, really light red hair.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time when she is in, what's that one movie? I don't know. She was in a movie with blonde hair. That was a wig.
Eyes Wide Shut.
Wow.
Sure.
No, don't start talking about that again.
One of my favorites.
Oh.
I don't know what movie I'm thinking of. I just know there was at least one where she had blonde hair, but that was a wig.
Jeez, can you imagine an actress wearing a wig?
How dare they?
That seems too
How about
high
someone
to
on a
me.
radio show?
Well, one of my favorite actresses is Judi Dench. I know she doesn't wear a wig.
Oh, God. Okay.
Dame Judy.
How do you know?
Dame Judi Dench, right?
Can you tell us quickly, how do you
awesome.
know she doesn't wear a wig?
I was listening to another podcast and they were talking about her wigs.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Judi Dench.
No.
Nicole Kidman's wigs.
Goodness. Wow. Let's move on. In the studio with us tonight, in the house, as they say, is Al Ronaldo, UFO mechanic. Al, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, Mac. Hello, everybody.
Hello, Al.
Looking forward to a fun evening here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Don't get your hopes up. It's
Hey,
still
maybe I
early.
ask you, Al, maybe I have asked you, when you're doing UFO mechanic stuff, is it American or metric?
Metric. This, the whole
Primarily
world. The whole
metric?
world is metric, except
us.
basically us.
Yeah, okay. All right.
So aliens are too.
Yeah. Who do you think brought it here?
Right.
Just to confuse
Good
us.
point.
Right. No, they did a good job of confusing us.
Yes.
Anyway, talk about confusing. Wow, what a gazinta. Up there in his lair, Agent X is with us. The guy who works at the agency that works at the agencies. X.
Thank you for having me. I always like seeing some familiar faces here and a new one.
Yes.
Susan, thanks.
Yes. Also joining us tonight is Susan Kauppila. Did I pronounce that right, Susan?
Very nice. Thank you.
She is attained superfan status as of right now. Okay, so let's clap her in, please. We'll sweeten that up.
He tolerates this show nearly every week. Or
Nearly
is it
every week, right, exactly. Just like we do,
Wow.
nearly every week. Susan, you're down in, where are you again? You're down south somewhere.
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Everybody's in North Carolina.
Yes.
It's amazing. I know a lot of people in North Carolina.
Yes, we all do. A lot of people, it's the second city in the United States where people are moving to. Charlotte, North Carolina.
Really?
For some reason.
Charlotte's Grove.
How many people in this radio show went to basic training in North Carolina? Please raise your hands. Whoa. Oh, stop it, Raven.
How do you know she did?
JK.
So, Susan, you're down in North Carolina. You're a fan of the show. We're in touch a lot off air. How are things with you today?
Everything's going great.
Okay. You have a Corvette, correct?
I do, and just got a check engine light come on today, so I'm not very happy.
No,
Oh, no.
no. That's a couple grand. So, what year is it?
It's a 2004.
2004.
Wow.
Al has a 1991. What is it?
I have a 1990 ZR1.
ZR1, very rare Corvette.
Very nice. Yes.
He's let me drive on two occasions.
I bought it for my wife, and she decided she didn't like it.
Okay, so hey,
That's why it has 25,000 miles on it.
Funny.
can't win all the time.
Story.
That's funny. She wasn't going to part with a Ferrari for that
No,
thing,
the
right?
thing is, it's too big and bulky for her. She's used to
Yeah.
Porsche 911s, so she got a 911 instead. So
Oh,
now,
you spoiled her.
now
Al.
she's happy. So,
Yeah. Okay.
and the vet
Listen to this
sits.
guy.
The vet sits in the garage and does
Unbelievable.
nothing.
But it's a
How
nice
much you
car.
paying him, Mac?
It's a different car. Excuse me?
How much you paying him? My God.
moving on.
Porsche 911, ZR1.
Yeah.
ZR1, is that the one with the what the hell engine's in there?
It has a British
The Lotus engine in
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
The Lotus engine,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's an odd vet, but I think it's cool.
it's the most un-American Corvette ever built. It's got a British engine and a German transmission.
How about that?
Love it.
And they used to hate each other. So
What is
anyway,
it, a ZF transmission or something?
Yeah, it's got a 6-speed ZF in it.
wow.
ZF. I had a Volvo, not Volvo, a Peugeot, a Pugwatt, I used to call it.
Yes.
It had a ZF automatic transmission in it.
The cool thing about Al's vet is that don't you have you can give the guy who parks your car a certain key and it can't go over 30 miles an hour or something?
Yeah, it has a valet key. That
Valet key. I love that.
If you put it to valet and pull the key out, it only gives eight fuel injectors gas. If you put it to full power, it'll run all 16 injectors.
Damn, these
so it
guys-
knocks the power down to about half. So if you let your 18-year-old kid take it to the prom, he's not going to kill himself
That's cool, man.
as easily.
So basically, they watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off and were like, we need to fix
There you
go.
just
We need to
in
fix
case
this.
this
There you go.
happens.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So anyway, tonight we have a bunch of things, scheduled. We're going to be talking about Lanier Lake. Is that how you pronounce that, Raven?
Lake Lanier.
Lake Lanier, okay, a creepy lake. We're going to be talking about several kind of creepy videos that we found on YouTube, and in a prior life, Al was someone who was an expert in photography and how in the processing of photographs. So he's going to give us his opinion on what these things are. All three of them are ghosts in the woods, in the forest. I've watched them many times. One of them is The Pacing Man, which we've talked about quite a lot on the show recently. I don't know what they are. Of all the kind of weird videos out there, besides the one where it seems like infants and toddlers see ghosts, the pictures that people see in the woods, whatever those things are moving around, are creepy.
Well, that's some of those. Yeah.
And then we get a bunch of other stuff to do, too. So anyway, why don't we start off the show with the top 10 list. Okay, now, last week, Club happened to say in an offhand way, maybe we could, when Switch comes back, Switch is coming back very soon, by the way, in a couple of weeks. I talked to him earlier today. He said, when Switch comes back with What Did Switch Have for Breakfast, he suggested that maybe that we won't have to do the top 10 anymore. This is Club, okay? And I don't quite get it, but
I don't either.
Our top 10 of the night is top 10 reasons why Club wants to do with the top 10 list. Okay? All right. I think that's it. So why don't we do this? Why don't we start the music now? Raven, you have the list, right?
I have the list.
Okay, so here we go. Top 10 reasons Club, he's not even here tonight. Top 10 reasons Club wants to do away with the top 10 list. Please, Raven, number 10.
Number 10, it's always about Wan.
See, it's always about that's his
He's
first
got a point there. Then we don't want to
I was like, he ain't wrong.
All right, so, okay, number 9, please.
It's always about Teddy, Coco's ballless horse.
That's true. You run neck and neck there, JJ. Okay, number 8, please.
He's upset that the staff turned down his idea. What did Club have for lunch?
See, hard feelings there. All right, so top 10 reasons why Club wants to get rid of the top 10 list, please, Ray.
Number 7, he thinks it's time better spent talking to Raven.
We all agree.
Yes.
Yes, we do. All right. Next, please, Ray.
Number 6, if it's a top 10, why do we do it backwards? Well, why do we do it backwards?
Yeah, why do we do it backwards? Anyway.
I don't know. It's like the old countdown on radio, you know.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Next, please.
Number 5, in this time of inflation, it should really be a top 13.67.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Is this on?
Wow.
Okay.
That's deep. That's really deep.
Too deep? Okay. Next, please, Raven.
Number 4. The bit is such a blatant ripoff of David Letterman. He fears a massive lawsuit from CBS any day now.
That might be on the horizon. You don't know.
You know, that's a good point.
Yeah, I know. Thank you, Wama.
You have to clear these kinds of bits with
we'll find out.
the clearinghouse.
Isn't David Letterman
own
in
the
jail
top
now?
10.
Is he one of the ones that went to jail?
He
Why?
should be in jail. He is a crime.
Yeah, for
David Letterman.
the usual thing.
No, why? What's the matter
women.
with David Letterman? Why don't you like David Letterman? I thought he was kind of funny. He was on for 20 years. No, you don't like him, Raven?
He's so rude.
Rude?
Like, he's the rudest person I've ever seen have a show.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, okay.
What's up with that beard, too?
Women well.
He never treats women well, and that's why I don't like him.
Wow. Okay. I don't like him.
Anyways, I'm off my soapbox.
I don't like him anymore either. Okay, so here we
Good.
go. Top 10 reasons why Club wants to get rid of the top 10 list. What is it, number 2, 3? Where are we?
3.
3.
Number 3. He got a call from Whitey Bulger's ghost telling him to knock the crap off.
Oh, that's reason enough right
That's
there.
right there, right? We don't need the other 2. Okay, so,
Woof, yeah. If you get a call from Whitey Bulger, you listen.
right, even if it's his ghost. Number 2, please, Raven.
Number 2, he feels that quote unquote top 10 isn't inclusive enough.
Ooh.
That would be a reason.
Too deep?
Oh, everything.
Too deep? Yeah, too soon? Okay, all right. So, number 1 reason why Club wants to get rid of the top 10 list.
Number 1, could it just once be about him?
See, that's weird.
And it is. Yay.
And they're not even here.
Yeah, and he's not here tonight. That's fine. Anyway, there you go. Okay. All right. We'll sweeten that baby up. So why don't we do this? Leave them laughing. We'll take a commercial break now, and we'll be right back, and we'll start the show. You're listening to Mack Maloney's Military X-Files show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this.
There's a monster in Tokyo Bay, hundreds of feet tall and breathing fire. It's able to destroy whole cities, sink entire battle fleets, and knock swarms of jet fighters from the sky. But there's another even more dangerous resident of the bay. A secretive psychopath intent on covering the planet with nuclear-armed booby traps unless the world's population bends to their demands. Meanwhile, a mysterious group of reborn medieval warriors has taken to the air. Strange signals are being picked up from outer space, and witnesses report seeing hundreds of ghost planes flying in the night skies over Tokyo. Sailing off the coast of Japan aboard the United American Navy's mega aircraft carrier, the USS USA, it's Hawk Hunter, the wingman. He must investigate these unusual occurrences while trying to thwart the criminal's apoplectic plan. But will his actions save the planet or lead to World War IV? Find out in Mack Maloney's exciting new novel, The Jericho Storm. Filled with dozens of dogfights, sea battles, and brutal hand-to-hand combat, The Jericho Storm is book 21 in Mack's best-selling Wingman series. Team up with Hawk's longtime allies, as well as a few new ones, including fighter pilots Switchblade Steve Ward and Jocko Johnson. That's Wingman 21, The Jericho Storm. On sale now at your local bookstore and on Amazon.
I heard a really gross joke the other day.
Ooh, what is it?
Can't tell it on the air. Remember Norm Macdonald? He just
I
died.
love Norm Macdonald.
Yeah, he was funny. It's
Yeah.
What, you ready? I'm sorry. This is adult. What's the last thing you want to hear after you Willie Nelson?
What?
I'm not Willie Nelson.
Hello, girls.
No Coco
Welcome
tonight.
aboard.
No Coco tonight, no Switchy. But both of them will be back in a very near future show. Up there in Sideways, New York, however, is our favorite good witch, Raven, is with us. Raven. Hello.
Hi, I'm here. Thanks for having me.
Do you have a pair of vampire teeth in your mouth?
Yeah, I was trying to just put them in, but my teeth are so crooked I can't get them in. I think they're also made for child mouths.
Oh, I see.
which
Oh,
I
okay.
don't have.
All right. Little visual aid for the radio show. That's cool. Thanks for being with us tonight. Also,
Thank you.
Agent X, the guy who works at the agency, he's calling us from his bunker, his lair. X, you okay?
Thanks for having me in, and I apologize. I don't have vampire's teeth tonight.
That's okay. Well, you might need
But
them
you do
later
have
on.
the accent.
What is what are you wearing there? Is that a sweater you knitted for yourself or something? A St. Patrick's Day sweater? Green?
No, this is a classic Irish rugby shirt.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay.
I was gonna say it looks like a soccer shirt or something.
Yeah.
Rugby.
Yeah. Don't say soccer to a rugby fan. They'll get upset.
We'll get into the Popeye thing then.
Right. Also in the studio with us
They
tonight.
play rugby on Downton Abbey too. Rugby is such a weird game. Though. I don't get it.
There we go.
Here we go.
Yeah.
How you move the ball? It's strange.
Also in hang on. First one of the night? I don't know. Also in the studio with us tonight, in the house, is UFO mechanic, El Ronaldo. Al.
Hey, Mac. Hey, folks.
Anything okay with you?
Life's just going on.
Really? Yeah. Okay. Well, that's what it's meant to. That's
Just
what's
waiting
meant to happen.
Any day on the green side of the grass is a good day,
Okay, there you go. There's the T-shirt.
Sure.
Also joining us from down in North Carolina is Superfan Susan Kauppila. Did I pronounce it right, Susan?
You did. You've got it down.
The
Very
group
nice.
wants to
Thank
clap
you.
again. Let's clap again.
Okay.
Thank you for having me. Yay.
Whereabouts in North Carolina? Anywhere near the Outer Banks where my daughter got married?
No, Outer Banks is several hours away. I'm actually very close to the Virginia line.
Okay.
It's more inland than near the beach.
Okay.
But you're originally from our part of the woods, right? Massachusetts, the Boston area?
I am, and I still have my Boston accent.
Yeah, you
Yes,
should
sir.
do. That's good. Do you ever come back up this way?
So I was up there about 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Did you?
And I kind of work my vacations around all the good restaurants that I remember from
Well, there's plenty of them.
being up there.
Did you drive the Corvette up?
No. She's too old, and I'm a little nervous about taking her on a long drive like that.
I think that's wise. So anyway, so listen, we've been talking off here for a while. You had sent me some photographs. You have a trail camera, which I'm going to buy very soon because we have a lot of odd things running around where we live too. But you have a trail camera on your property, and one night, I guess you looked at it the next day, and you saw some very odd images on it, and it just happened to be the same night that you saw some strange lights in the sky. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, so why don't we start with the strange lights in the sky? So what happened? It was night, you looked out, and you saw what?
So I just was out walking the dog and looked up at, and the sky was beautiful, stars in the sky, and I noticed a light that was moving towards me, and it would stop, and then it would continue on, and so I tried to film it, and at times it would just be still, and it was moving erratically, and it became a regular thing, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to get the trail camera. And one night I just saw a lot of activity and recorded the whole thing, and the lights went down behind the trees behind my barn, which happens to be where the trail camera was. And the next day I ran down to get the trail camera, and there's that strange picture that's just bizarre because it's motion activated.
Right.
And if there's continuous movement, it records. So how did that strange photograph, which I think I sent you,
Right.
It's bizarre. It's strange. It doesn't look like any animal that I know
No,
of.
it looks to me like it's an image at night with eyes that are reflected right back to you. But it looks like an elf or something to me, doesn't it? Like kind of like long pointed ears, the weird eyes. It for some reason it looked like something like that, an elf or something.
Yeah.
But
It's strange.
So what happens is that like the next day you see this thing that was out there the night before, right?
Yes, the very next day.
That must freak you out, man. That would be
sure that I had proof.
So what do you think it was? I mean, you sent me other photos where you can see coyotes and you can see deer and stuff like that. Kind of what you would expect in a woods. But this thing is totally unexpected. I mean, any ideas?
No, I don't. I mean, the shape of its head, it's got a triangular head where it's, longer at the top, and then it comes down to a point kind of at the chin. I can't even imagine what it is. The only thing I can guess is that it's a deer laying there, but why can't we see its antlers?
Yeah, no.
Or I really don't have any idea what it is.
Yeah, I don't think the eyes would. I think if it was a deer, you'd be able to see it. You know what I mean? You'd say, oh, that's just a deer laying there. This thing is just very odd looking, very strange, and it's looking right at the camera. It looks like too, which is kind of
Yes.
creepy as well.
And ironically, right after that picture, the camera batteries went dead. That was
Really,
the
huh?
last.
Oh, that's shady.
Yeah.
Figures.
Yeah, that's shady.
Pretty crazy.
When I look at this, the first thing that comes to my mind, just in general, just because of the size, is like a possum, but it's only because of the size of it, shape, and these bizarre ears or whatever these things are. It's not.
Yeah,
and
right.
I don't know what else could possibly be that size that would be similar. And similar is used very liberally because it really doesn't look like a possum.
It doesn't look like anything, that you would recognize right away. Is it in the grass, or is it just? Can you tell where exactly it is? Is it in the bushes looking out at us, or in a clearing? Or?
So So where exactly that is at, there are some trees there, and then there's a path where you can walk through, like a trail where I could ride my horse through.
Right.
And then there's a big mound of dirt which would be to its left. So it would be right there in the trail area.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And so now, ever since that's happened, when did it happen? How long ago did it happen?
3 or 4 months ago.
Okay. Do you check the trail camera every night now? I know I would be. I'd be checking every footage, every piece of footage from at night. Ever see anything odd like that again?
No. The only thing I've been seeing, the last thing that caught me off guard was the coyote that was about 50 feet from my barn.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
But that picture just has me stumped.
Yeah.
I have no idea what it is. And after seeing all those lights, and I couldn't get my husband to come outside, I was like, look at the lights. And then to see them go down, and lose sight of them behind the barn, which is right where that picture was taken.
Right.
So what is it?
Now, let me ask. X might actually know this. So, X, do you know if you need to have like the green and the red blinking lights on drones?
Yeah, you need to have warning lights on drones.
On drones, yeah,
navigation.
That seemed
I'm
right.
not going to say whether they're red or green, but I know you do.
Right. Well, this the videotape that Susan sent to me. There's no red or green lights on this thing flying around up there. This is just pale light, right, Susan?
That's correct, and I see them regularly.
That's strange, isn't it? I mean, so at the very least, someone's flying drones illegally. Oh, are you near an airport?
No, I mean 30 miles from one,
Yep.
but
No
that's
military,
not that far.
military bases or anything near you? National Guard or anything? Wow.
Fort Bragg, about 2 hours away.
Oh, don't bring that up. That's where X did his basic training, right, X?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Slowly I
Next to
turn.
the parochial
Step by
schools,
step.
basic training made a man of me.
Really? Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's your story. Stick to it. So, do you have any neighbors close by who see weird stuff or hear weird stuff?
No, we're all pretty spread out here, like 5-acre plots. So I don't really, and the house beside me is vacant.
Really?
So I don't have anyone to collaborate or compare notes with.
Do you ever hear?
So I just videos.
Do you ever hear any weird stuff? Ever hear any strange stuff?
Yes, I do have some strange recordings that I'm just going to convince myself are coyotes, but they're pretty strange noises. But
well, like what? I mean, only because we're Uncle Al and I live down Plum Island. There's a lot of coyotes, and you hear them howling at night in the middle of the night. It's like you're out west somewhere, in a cowboy movie. So what do these sound like to you? What do these strange noises sound like to you?
Like a dying animal wailing, or it's a moan. It's throaty, and there's no howl. I mean, I know when the coyotes are howling,
right.
You hear them. Actually, they bark, which I didn't know a coyote barked until I Googled it and found out that coyotes can bark. But this isn't like that. But I'm going to keep telling myself it's a coyote.
Wow. I'm assuming because you're in North Carolina, you must have an assortment of guns at the house, right? Assortment of weapons.
So I do carry something on my hip when I do walk the back of the property, just in case, especially because of the coyotes, but because of whatever else is lurking in the underbrush from the night before.
Right. Yeah, we're going to be talking about stuff that shows up in the woods later on in the show. But does it unnerve you? Does it bother you? That this weird stuff is 50 feet away.
It doesn't. I'm curious, but I don't want to be probed or abducted or anything. So
Wow, that's the magic word of the night.
It's called, you don't want to find out the hard way, right?
Well,
exactly. I just want to learn about, what's going on, but I do not want to participate.
wow. Okay, we understand.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Would be crude if I
I
said.
think being probed is overrated. I'm actually looking forward to it someday. Why not?
Come on down.
Wow.
We can go
How
out
bad
there.
can it be?
Every time I think it can't get worse.
It can get bad.
AJ says something
I'm
like,
going to compare it to the procedure I'm going to have Friday, which is a root canal.
Oh, well, it's a lot different from a root
yeah.
canal.
It can't be that bad,
Root
right?
canals are easy.
Yeah,
I mean, I
right.
guess all you have to
And they are
really think
easy.
about is, are you missing time? And then you wouldn't
Right.
remember anyways. So,
Laughing gas will do that.
Yeah,
though,
yeah. Did I have
there you go.
Did I have drinks and dinner first? Hey, you don't know. You might forget these.
Did I get a reach around?
No. Wow. Oh, wow. Wow. Al, out of control
I am
already.
wheezing.
Where did that come from?
One Bud Light.
Susan,
Left
you don't
field.
have to worry because you have something strapped to your hip. Well
Wow,
done.
that's true.
Yes.
That's true.
We'll
So-
try to reach around and be like, oh no.
Yeah, with a sandpaper mitten, right?
Is that your pistol, or you're just glad to see me, right? Look, I couldn't help it. So, wow, that's strange. That's great. So, will you keep us up to date if you see anything else strange out there, Susan? We want to know.
I absolutely will. Thank you.
That's a crazy story. That's why I'm going to get in. I know we talked off air about you gave me some recommendations for a trail camera. And the reason I'm putting one out in back of my place is that when it snows, you see all different kind of, the next day you see all. And boy, one time I saw this track. It looked like Godzilla walked through the backyard. I'm telling you, and he had a tail, dragging a tail, big feet, dragging a tail. Looked like he was going from side to side. And I'm thinking, what could that have been?
Yeah.
So anyway, but I'm afraid
Mack,
in a way.
you sure that wasn't my dog?
Yeah, could have
There
been.
you go.
X has a huge dog. How big is that dog now? How big is that dog? Is he 5 feet off the ground easily, right? X, wake up.
First she's a girl.
Okay,
Yeah, she's a
okay.
girl.
She's only 147 pounds.
Only.
But she does have big feet and a long tail.
Okay, hold on a second. Time out.
Yes.
Why is this the first time I'm hearing that X has a dog and nobody told me?
He has an enormous Irish wolfhound. He's had a string of them. Yeah.
X, I need to see her.
Oh, she's a beautiful dog.
Yeah. Where's
She
she?
sounds great.
Where's
He
she
takes
now?
her to Cobra's parties all the time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Gotta go. Oh my God.
There was a pig that was chasing her around
last
at one of
time?
the last parties. Cobra
Could
gets
be
touchy.
Zeppelin, could it?
Yeah,
Correct.
Cobra gets touchy about Zeppelin, so I don't mention it a lot, but
Right. Right. Uh-huh. The pig was chasing the dog around?
Well, the pig was being, I guess, territorial.
Oh, right.
And
Okay.
I thought it was being
the-
sort of amorous,
well,
like
the dog would make 3 of that pig. So, and I think the dog was probably looking, saying, I think that's where bacon and ham come from.
Right,
So,
yes, right, of course.
I could make something out
Al,
of this.
you got that exactly right.
Only JJ could turn that into romantic. You thought it was had something to do
yeah,
with
an amorous adventure, yeah.
really, yeah, the pig and the Irish wolfhound.
Yep, Zeppelin smelled something in the air. and,
Okay, all right. They
You,
was
you
fair
have to
game.
understand,
already sounds
Mack,
like a
this is
German
the
porn movie.
same guy who just said he's looking forward to being pro.
That's true. That's true. We have to take
I mean, how
that.
bad can it be?
I think the dog was looking down her nose at the pig.
I wouldn't say I'm looking forward to it. I don't think I'd have, minded necessarily.
Wow.
Well, there was the necessary
It's like
lubricant
if-
involved.
Yeah, if it happens, it happens. You
Yeah.
know? Move
Wow.
on.
Everyone's
Right.
so lazy.
I'm
fair
on your
about
side,
it.
JJ.
Okay.
Thank you. You cherish the experience and you learn from it, then move on. You talk about it on the show,
Exactly.
maybe.
Wow. I have a joke. I have a joke that I can't even say in the air. But
You can take a
it's fine.
selfie,
Maybe
hey,
off air we can
good.
talk about.
I'll
Selfie would
pass
be
on the
great.
probing. I'll
Yes.
You.
Anyway, why don't we do this? Well, thank you, Susan, for telling us about that. I will get a trail camera, and I'll let you know what I pick up on my trail camera. Okay, we can compare.
That would
Now,
be great.
you also have a ballless Huss, right?
I do.
You do. Okay. So what happened to him? Did he lose it in an accident, or was it a planned event?
Definitely a planned event. Calm him down a little bit.
Calm him
Take those
down.
hormones away.
Right. Okay. Now, how many horses do you have?
So I had 2 the last time I was on the show. I have 1 now.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Tennessee walking horse.
Okay. And what happened to the other one? Did he go south?
Somebody wanted to buy him and rides him more. I just don't have the time.
Oh, yeah.
And I sold him.
Yep. Do you miss him?
Yeah.
Do you miss him?
Of course.
I do, because it's been beautiful weather, and the first thing I think of is, I'd like to go out and jump on him and, go for a ride, and he's not there.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. All right. Well, he's having fun somewhere. Someone else is riding him, right?
Yeah, they rode him 8 miles last Saturday and 6 miles on Friday.
Wow.
So he's either mad or happy. Not
Okay.
sure.
Sounds like me.
That seems like a lot. Is that a lot? Or I don't know anything about
Yeah,
horses.
is that a long
Is that
way?
normal? Like
8 miles for a horse, is that a good day for a horse?
That's a day-long trail ride, and as long as they're, muscular and good shape, and are ridden regularly, that's nothing to them.
Oh, right. Okay.
And good shoes.
cool.
And good
I didn't know
shoes.
that.
Well shod.
Yeah, you have to have the right shoes, right? For sure.
It's funny. I heard somewhere that back in the early days, let's say, of automobiles,
Right.
at that point in time, everybody owned a horse, and only the rich people
Right.
had a car.
Right.
And now everybody has a car, and only the rich people have horses.
Wow, there you go. Uncle Al with
what I
the
hear.
social commentary.
He's right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry about that, Al. It won't be long before we all have horses again.
Yeah,
That's right.
I'm afraid you're right there.
Or Teslas. Yeah.
And we'll be burning its poop for fuel so we can
Really?
cook on
Wow.
open
Isn't
hearth
Even
cooking.
better.
This is an optimist looking at the future. So anyway, well, listen, why don't we
my
do
God.
this? Why don't we take a commercial break now? And we'll be right back after this. Susan, are you going to hang with us for a little while on the show?
I'd love to. Thank you.
Okay, cool. So why don't we do this? Once again, take a commercial break now. We'll be right back after this. Please stay tuned.
Do you know where the world's most secret bases are located? Do you know what spooky action at a distance means? Is there a conspiracy by aliens to prevent us from conquering space? And where is the best place in the United States to see a real UFO? Find the answers to all these questions and more in Mack Maloney's new book, Mack Maloney's Haunted Universe. Visit places you never knew existed: the Phantom Tunnels of Tokyo, the UFO Trail in South America, Ong's Hat, and the very mysterious M Triangle. Mack Maloney's Haunted Universe contains hundreds of reports on ghosts, haunted planes and ships, weird celebrity deaths, mysterious sounds, and a breakdown of every monster in America, state by state. You've heard him talk about it on the radio. Now, get all of Mack's paranormal research in one large volume. Mack Maloney's Haunted Universe, with a foreword by the very famous Juan Juan. On sale now in your local bookstore or on Amazon.com.
No CC, no Switch tonight, but favorite good witch Raven is with us up there in Sideways, New York. Raven,
I'm here. Thanks for having me.
all things good with you?
Everything's good.
And the cats, fried eggs and scotch and water?
My one cat and my one dog. Yes, they're both good.
We've got to check
Fried egg and scotch and water. Yeah.
Friday.
Friday.
His real name is Friday. Her real name is Friday. Anyway, also in the studio with us, in the house, Al Ronaldo, UFO mechanic. Al,
Hello, Mac. Hello, folks.
are you enjoying yourself so far?
I'm having a great
Are you
time.
really? Okay.
You know it.
We're already hitting Pistol Pete's beer, but that's another show. Also with us is Agent X, the man who works for the agency that works for the agencies. X.
Oh, he's muted.
Unmute your mic there, Lieutenant Colonel.
Sorry.
Yep.
Hey, Mac.
Yep.
Glad to be here with the crew. Thank you.
And
Good
also
to see you.
joining us tonight is Superfan Susan Kauppila. No, Kauppila. Please, Susan,
Very nice.
help me out.
Coppola.
Kauppila.
Coppola.
Okay.
Coppola.
All right. Not Italian, as we found out, though it sounds it. But it's, what is it, Finnish or something like that?
Finish.
That's right.
Finnish.
Finished.
I know. How could you not know that? That name is, it's like
Duh,
Smith.
Mac. Oh my
It's Finnish.
God.
I know that I don't know my Finnish
It was like Smith and
surnames.
believe
Yep.
me.
Really?
Well, you look like you're
common name.
He's just pulling your hat there, Wani.
No, I'm not.
You look like you could be from.
Susan, tell him.
Is it?
It's a common name, and actually, there's a lot of Finnish population in Michigan, and Kauppila is very prominent.
I thought we were talking about Susan, but anyway, look. But you look like you could be from Finland because you look Scandinavian, blonde, attractive. You push all the right buttons, right? Did you ever go back there? Have you ever been there?
Nope. So this is my married last name, but I'm.
Wow. I'm German, I got to cut that out.
She's German.
Close. Really? Yeah. Well, close.
Well,
Close.
there you go. Yeah,
Okay.
that works.
All right.
I see Viking in you, Susan.
Little bit of Viking.
What your last
Viking.
name is.
Yeah.
So that's what counts.
Wow.
And
I'm a fan of the Vikings.
One other point while I'm correcting everyone.
Go ahead.
The Finns are not Scandinavians.
Excuse
they
me?
are not Scandinavians. They're a different group entirely.
Who?
We're talking about Vikings?
Yeah, Vikings.
Vikings.
Yeah, right. No,
Okay. The Vikings weren't Scandinavian? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
No.
Well, what?
Finns were not Vikings.
I'm confused. Now, the Vikings, all right, let's start again. Are you saying the Finns are not Scandinavian?
Scandinavians are Danes, Norwegians, and Swedish.
Okay.
Right.
Finns are a totally different ethnic and linguistic group.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Were the Finns, were they Vikings? Were they
We all
Vikings?
went to these, you and I went to this very great school, classic educated school.
Was it Boston Latin? You guys went to Boston
No,
Latin?
we went to St. Anne's School.
I'm talking about
A Catholic school.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is elementary school. I went to Boston Tech. I was the only. I don't know.
Then you went to film school.
Then I went to film. I did go to film school. Thank you, Juan.
Right.
Are you saying it wasn't?
Yeah, Susan
inclusive?
Mack went to film school. Do you know that?
It was not. Who did?
I've heard it say it on the show. Yes.
Right. See. Okay. Thank you, Juan.
He's a world-renowned film expert. Hates all the directors that I like, which is a common theme with him. He hates everybody.
It's not, I don't hate everybody. I'm just, if I'm overeducated, then okay, I won't fight you on that.
Not a big fan of Quentin Tarantino.
He's
myself.
terrible.
Sorry, Juan.
Terrible director.
Okay, see.
No.
Terrible human being.
No.
I bet if we had a couple of beers together, you'd come around and realize that he's not the best in the world, but he's pretty good.
Oh, you're talking about you and me? We've had a couple beers together. We've had a couple dozen beers together, and I still don't agree with you. He's
You still
terrible.
can't stand him. I know.
He's terrible and a
But
terrible
I
person.
offered that opportunity to Susan. I already gave up on you, Mac, a long time ago.
Thank you, Juan.
Even giving QT any kind of consideration in the film industry.
Okay. Should we move on?
If we want.
Okay.
Sure. It's your show.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway.
Crickets. I hear crickets.
Well, if you hear crickets.
There you go.
Why don't we go to Raven to save us here? Tonight we have a report on a very creepy place called Lake Lanier. Is that the place? Right?
Yes, Lake Lanier.
Tell us, please.
All right. So this is in Gainesville, Georgia. I'll try to save us. This is a downer, so I apologize.
That's okay.
But it's very spooky. So about 11 million people visit Lake Lanier every year. This is actually the largest lake in Georgia and one of the deadliest bodies of water in the United States. Since the lake's formation in 1956, roughly 500 deaths have been reported, 200 of which occurred in the last 30 years, and 27 of those bodies have never been recovered.
Wow.
Lake Lanier's tragic history actually starts before it's even a lake. This is hard to say. Forsyth County, Georgia,
Yes.
was actually part of the Trail of Tears. And in the 1830s, the U.S. government removed most of the Cherokee Nation members. More innocent blood was shed when a young white woman was found dead on the banks of the Chattahoochee River in Oscarville after she was brutalized. And this is before it became Gainesville. and 4 Black members of the community were blamed for her murder, 3 of which were savagely hanged. It's widely believed that the 3 men who were tried were in fact not guilty of her murder, and the real killer was never brought to justice. So bloodshed would actually continue as recently as the 1980s. When violence erupted over a civil rights march, and the white population forced the Black population out of Forsyth County. Entire homes, farms, and businesses were completely abandoned.
Okay.
So now I'm going to get actually into the body of water itself.
Right, yes.
In 1956, Lake Lanier was formed by flooding the ghost town of Oscarville. The Army Corps of Engineers wanted to use the land to provide water and power to the neighboring towns. So could the dark history be responsible for the high death toll at Lake Lanier? Just 40 miles to the west sits Lake Altoona, which receives about the same number of visitors per year, yet it has 1/3 of the deaths.
Wow.
So what lies beneath the surface of Lake Lanier can possibly contribute to the high number of fatalities. There's debris, there's rubble, sunken boats. They found lawn chairs, fishing equipment, and this has all created a treacherous underwater obstacle, making rescue operations dangerous due to the low visibility.
Now, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Are these deaths, these are drownings, these are people who go missing all of a sudden? They're gone?
A combination. Yes.
Okay. I wouldn't go near the place. Frankly, I wouldn't swim in it. But anyway, go ahead.
So, I mean, I wouldn't either, but then you look at the pictures and it's very, very pretty.
Oh, is it beautiful?
So you might
okay.
change
Well, then
your mind.
I might change my
know.
mind then. Okay.
Was this lake created from an intentional flooding? Like you said, the Army Corps of Engineers was involved.
Yeah, so it was intentionally flooded.
Ever seen that movie, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yes, I love that movie.
Okay,
oh my
remember
gosh.
remember that scene where the place is flooded and there's cows swimming in this,
Yeah.
They
stuff
did
like
that in
It makes me think of
Coen
it.
Brothers movie. Awesome. You like the Coen Brothers?
No, they're terrible too. Listen, that's how Quabbin Reservoir in Massachusetts was created. They flooded like 12 different towns, and some of the towns
They told everybody to get out.
Told everyone to get out.
And if you didn't, well,
Yep.
TS.
So, please, Raven, continue. Go on.
we're sorry.
No, you're good. So some people think that Lake Lanier is haunted by the remaining graves that are underwater that no one ever bothered to relocate.
Oh, that's okay.
Others speculate that the lake is haunted by the 27 victims that have yet to be found. The most famous haunting of Lake Lanier is the tragic story of the Lady of the Lake. So we're in 1958. Delia Mae Parker Young and Susie Roberts were out late at a dance. They stopped for gas on the way home and they sped off without paying because they're awesome. And when they crossed the bridge that spans the lake, their car actually skidded off the side and it plunged them into those depths. So in 1959, a fisherman found a body that was so badly decomposed that it was unidentifiable. And it wasn't until 1990 that officials found a 1950 Ford sedan containing the remains of Susie Roberts.
Wow.
So it was then that law enforcement was able to positively identify Delia Mae Parker Young. However, residents of nearby Gainesville say that a young woman wearing a blue dress is regularly seen wandering around the bridge. And legend has it that Delia Mae grabs unsuspecting lakegoers with her handless arms and drags them to the bottom of the lake.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
Swimmers also report feeling arms and hands reaching and touching for them while they tread water.
No thanks. No thanks.
So with its controversial past, along with many other stories that we just can't get into today, I'm not super surprised that it's haunted or possibly cursed. It's very deceiving, though, because it is the most beautiful lake you have ever seen in your life. I encourage everyone to Google pictures. It's very, very pretty.
Well, the Department of Tourism and Travel in Georgia doesn't mention any of those things you talked about, David.
I have a
Third in their life.
Yes.
I mean, could this be? Could it be why the death toll is so high? We really don't know.
It's crazy.
But it's a very deceiving picture because it is just you picture peace and quiet, and it's this lake. It's very pretty.
Well, there's a lot of dead people there. Susan, you had a question?
I do. So I'm familiar with that lake, and I'm pretty sure I've been there. And Raven, isn't there a rumor that on Lake Lanier, when they flooded the town, the buildings, the structures were intact, and at times they can hear the church bell ringing early in the morning?
Oh, wow. Man.
Yes. Some sources I read say that, and others didn't. They say it depends on the source, because there are some that say that everything was leveled, but then why did they leave an entire cemetery? So it's, I feel like you have to see it to really get a full picture. And unfortunately, Google Images just doesn't do it justice. I would personally love to go, especially when it's the drought season, because some of the sources again say that you can see the church steeple sticking up out of the water. So I don't know. You would really have to go there, but it sounds great. I would love to go.
Wow. I know when they did the Quabbin Reservoir, this is kind of like in western part of Massachusetts, which supplies all the water for Boston and the metropolitan parts of Massachusetts. They did take the bodies out, and they took down some of the structures, but if you see the underwater photographs, you can still see the streets and stuff.
Yeah.
And
really?
Yeah, divers go down and check it out, and you can.
And there's still structures down there.
You see the foundations. You can see stuff.
Cool.
You can tell there was a town there.
Yeah, very strange.
Yeah.
7 pounds. 7.
And there's still meter maids giving people parking tickets down there too.
Hey, you know that speaking of
Always looking to make a buck in Massachusetts. Am I right, Susan?
That's for sure.
Lake Mead out in
Arizona. Right. Yep. Out in California. Yep.
Right, on the Arizona border.
Right.
Lake Mead is at the lowest level since 1937 when it was being filled. So it's way
starting to
down.
see the dead bodies.
They are. They're starting to pop out. They just pulled somebody out that was in a barrel.
Yeah.
And they said when they
how'd he get in there?
Right. When they pulled the barrel open, there were basically skeletal remains, but they said initial report was the shoes that the guy was wearing were 1970s, early 80s.
Interesting.
So it's time to wonder if it's Jimmy Hoffa.
Oh, wow. Could be.
Finally found him, Lake Mead.
And they said, be prepared. They're going to find a lot more bodies because no one really could bother with that area because, they really won't let you do much. It's a water supply.
Right, yeah.
So
that's the Hoover Dam there, right?
Yep.
Good place to dump a body. Good to know.
Hoffa was pushed over the Hoover Dam.
Wow.
It's a shame that anybody fall off the Hoover Dam, Jimmy.
Yeah, too bad, Jimmy.
And and then the next day, boom.
Wow. So that's crazy. So is this a vacation spot, Raven?
Yeah, I mean, I actually saw a TikTok a couple months ago. Somebody posted, and they were at Lake Lanier, and it was this super upbeat, jaunty music, and they're just filming, from right to left, slowly taking in the scenery. And then all of a sudden the camera pans down to the actual body of water. And all you see is just feet, just barely under the surface, just kind of floating there. And it's what did I just watch? Did you call authorities?
Yeah, really?
I need more information. What is this?
Wow.
So I don't know if because of the way that the drought season is, obviously everyone has a drought season. So is it eventually chumming up this earth at the bottom and maybe there's 27 people that are still missing that they haven't found. Is this one of the 27? I don't know. But it's a very strange video, and it's the way that they set it to this happy music is hilarious, but dark.
Wow. Funny.
Gotta love TikTok.
That's crazy. Yeah, TikTok.
Yeah, I'm just going to say that. If it's on TikTok, it must be true.
That's right. Mark the tape. This is the first TikTok reference in any of our shows, right, Mac?
Here's the Georgia Chamber of Commerce calling me. So why don't we do this? Why don't we take a commercial break? And we'll be right back after this. So you're listening to Mack Maloney's Military X-Files show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. Please stay tuned.
We've all heard of Area 51, the U.S. government's top secret base in the Nevada desert. But have you ever heard of Area 52 or 53 or 54? 54? How about Tonopah Test Range or the Navy's secret base inside the Bermuda Triangle? Find out about them and more in Mack Maloney's Beyond Area 51, Mysteries of the World's Most Forbidden Places. Did Richard Nixon show Jackie Gleason a crashed alien spaceship near the swamps of Florida? Is it true that more UFOs are seen over a small Scottish village than anywhere else in the world? And is there a secret place in Russia that some people think is heaven on earth? In Mack Maloney's Beyond Area 51, you'll visit more than a dozen top secret places around the globe. The haunted forests of New Jersey, a valley in Colorado where shadows come alive and humans can fly without wings. And where's the only secret base in America that's not been visited by UFOs? You've heard Mack talk all about these places on his radio show. Now you can read all about them yourself. That's Mack Maloney's Beyond Area 51, Mysteries of the World's Most Forbidden Places. Now on sale at Amazon.
Let me introduce the members of the posse really quickly. Girls, a very famous one is here. JJ is here.
Hello, everybody. Hello, girls.
Hello,
Matt.
No Coco, no Switch, but Raven is here with us, our favorite good witch up there in Sideways, New York. Raven.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Mm-hmm. And we
as you always say, we'll have you anytime.
Wow. There you go.
Wow. I actually got a text from LL over the break. Mm-hmm. Guess who bought a new car?
Lonely Larry. He got a new car. So this is number 5 for him. Number 5.
Yes. He told me he's filling it with hose and he's on his way to my house.
What kind of car is it?
With hose.
Hose?
Yeah.
I get it.
Wow. Hook it. Oh, wow. Oh. I thought you meant like a garden hose or something.
How much more do I need to explain?
Wow. Playing to the crowd here. You gotta.
I'm trying to play stupid here, but it's not possible with Raven on the show.
I guess not. Anyway, well, you're a damn good actor, though, Lonnie. Anyway, so Raven is here, and also X, the man who works the agency that works at the agencies, is here. Xie.
I lost it.
Thanks for having me. It's been wicked fun so far.
Wicked fun.
How it goes.
Wicked.
Also in the studio with us is Al Ronaldo, UFO mechanic.
Hey, Mac. Hello, everyone.
And
hello, Al.
Joining us tonight, something maybe she'll regret it someday. We don't know, but is Superfan Susan Kauppila down there in North Carolina. How's that, right? Perfect?
It is perfect, yes, and I would never regret this.
Oh, you sure? Okay, all right. Well, we're not over yet, The show isn't over yet. We'll see what happens.
There's still time.
So, well, Susan, you're now a witness to the behind the scenes, the off air stuff. Are you amazed how what a well-oiled machine we are? How everything just comes right down to the.
It's very impressive. Yes, very nice.
I was kidding.
Good.
Okay. Come on, we're half loaded and we can hardly find the door here. No, that's not true.
It is, Susan, until you get a knock on your door tomorrow morning.
No.
Right. And say, we heard you on that show.
Correct.
We want to ask you a few questions.
Well, they'd be asking about X, not me. So anyway, well, listen, so we're having a lot of kind of creepy topics tonight, and Uncle Al has one. Once again, we kind of pass these videos around to each other in the weeks before the show, and one that Raven had sent me, which I'm just addicted to looking at this thing because I cannot figure out what it is. It's a video that's been entitled The Pacing Man. And basically what it is I think they're down south somewhere, I'm not sure. And a woman was looking out her front door. She lives on a dead-end street in actually a parking lot to a church. And she kind of looks across the street. There's kind of like this kind of open area, and then there's these woods. And she noticed a figure out there pacing back and forth, just pacing back and forth. And at first she just decided it was somebody, but she kept an eye on it, and it turns out the minutes went into hours, hours went into days, and she would look out there and see this figure pacing back and forth for 4, 5, 6 hours a day, and has video of it. And when you see it, it's obviously a person you can't tell, it's a shadow. It's a shadow of a person. But the way they are acting, the way they're moving, and they look like we described it on the show a couple weeks ago. It looks like someone nervously pacing in a hospital hallway or something. Something they're hunched over, their arms are, they're worried. It's the body language of this thing. So anyway, finally, her and her husband went across the street to look for this thing, and there was nothing there. But they heard noises in the forest, and then later that night, their dog, went crazy in the yard. How dogs can, dogs see things that we can't see, and they sense things they can't. So much so that the husband went outside with a gun and stuff. It was really nuts, okay? But when you see this thing, you got to say, wow, what is that? So anyway, I threw some of these at Al. And Al, first of all, let's just talk about your background here for a second, okay? Well, at one point, you were, what was your title?
Well, I was a photo retoucher. And I worked in a graphic art shop where we built pictures. We made things that didn't exist.
Right.
But
that's the part of
commercial stuff.
Right. But
advertising.
Can I give the people a for instance? For instance, you used to do these panoramic photos of Fenway Park where the Boston Red Sox play.
Right.
Almost so you can see almost everybody in the stands. Right.
So, you'd go in and clean up stuff that, if there was stuff in there, like if someone stood up in the middle of the picture and blocked part of the field, or, you'd go in and you'd remove them.
Right, okay.
Remove them.
All right.
Or, we would do things like...
Without getting into the details, but they'd have undesirables also taken out of the
if they were
film.
If they were prominent or they were flipping somebody the bird or doing
you
something.
take them out. Okay.
Or,
but you would recreate just like the KGB used to do. It would be a photo that looks real, but never happened.
Correct.
Right.
You can do that. I mean, we did stuff for British Airways where they wanted to have, when they were flying the Concorde, they wanted to fly the Concordes all in formation.
Right.
Well, the cost of doing that would be stunning. So, they would give us individual pictures of the Concordes, and we put them up in the sky, flying in formation. Or when they built the John Hancock Tower, and the windows kept falling out.
Yes, right.
And they're coming down, 50, 60 stores. So
the plywood skyscraper.
Yeah, so they gave us pictures of the windows at different angles, and we put them back in the
back
building.
in, really, yeah.
And then there'd be a bum sleeping on the sidewalk, and you'd have to remove him. Stuff like that.
Yeah, okay.
And so, that kind of
Well, you
stuff.
manipulated reality, in other words, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you are you more likely, now we're talking about videos now, but are you more likely to see faked photos from your experience?
Faked photos are easier, and now they're so, they're everywhere because once Photoshop became inexpensive,
everyone did it.
Everyone's got it, and everyone uses it. And, we used to make, a good living out of fixing pictures.
Right.
Now, Photoshop came out, people can buy it, and instead of paying us, they'll do it themselves.
Right, sure.
And then they have ownership of it because
time
they
matches
did
on.
it. But what happens is they aren't professional at it, but it's two things to them. It's free and it's good enough.
Yeah.
But if they had brought that to me and I had done the picture and I had given them the quality that they're accepting now, they would have thrown it at me.
Right, it was a whole different world.
Yeah, it's a whole
then.
different world.
Right, but the fact that not to get too deep into it, but didn't you kind of recreate a photograph of Ted Williams at the All-Star game at Fenway Park, and it really didn't happen?
Let's just say I did a lot of stuff to a lot of pictures.
Wow.
I'm not getting in anything like that.
Speaking to a lawyer.
That was in the category of it could have happened.
Well, could have happened.
It's again, you're in the point of fixing what would make something an unsaleable product if you didn't go in.
Making memories is the way they used to put it, right?
Al,
like
what would it cost me to give you some good photographs of myself and some stock photos of Lily James, and Lily James and I are walking the Freedom Trail in Boston?
I'd say that's about $4,000 or $5,000 easy.
At this point, I don't own a computer capable.
I do. I'll do it.
That would be way more than $5,000.
$5,000, about $10,000 or so. $10,000.
I mean, some of the stuff
she's known to always like to hang out with married men, and I'm going,
well, you're one of them.
I guess I qualify.
I'll tell you honestly,
something about that woman.
The Mack that I use at home right now is so old, that I can't even display Yahoo on it anymore.
Wow. Really? I thought I was bad.
And the thing is, it's a toy. I mean, when I was working, I had, $10,000, $20,000 computers. But now at home, it's a toy. And, even I was telling Mac a couple of, like a month ago, my niece went out and bought me a brand new MacBook Pro.
Wow.
It was a big one too, a 17-inch, I think. And it was a over $2,000 computer. And
what happened?
I went to load Photoshop and it won't load.
Oh,
because it used to be, my Photoshop is 16-bit.
Yeah, you're down.
And the new stuff is 32, and it's like, forget it.
Time is
64 actually.
Yeah, all right, 64. But what ends up happening is you can't really, as far as I know, you can't buy Photoshop anymore. You can lease it from them for so much a month.
Like everything else, sure.
And I'm like, why would I do that? I use it once a month.
But so
everything is a subscription now.
Right. Let's get to what we're talking about tonight. So anyway, you with your trained eye, that there's a way that you could look at something maybe a little bit more distinctly than we do, and maybe know how to manipulate things, even though we're talking about photographs and we're talking about videos. Right? The difference between
the video software now.
Okay, so let's get into
good
that.
stuff.
Yep.
You've got to be at a movie studio. These guys have stuff that they can make anything look. And as a matter of fact, I don't know if anyone's seen the was it Boston Scientific has the dancing
mule there, the
robots, and they all get out there on the
crazy.
floor.
Yeah.
And people were saying, "Oh, that's all fake. That's all
that's
thrown
real."
in." And they took two gentlemen who are probably the biggest FX guys in Hollywood, and they put it up on a massive screen in front of them and said, "What do you think? Is this fake? Because we think it's fake." And these guys tore apart these guys, said, "Look at the shadowing behind these things and under them. It would take months
to recreate.
Never mind, just put the thing in there.
Yeah.
But look how when they interact, the shadows fall.
Yeah, sure.
Each other.
Yep.
So you can't do that. It would be so expensive.
Right, to fake something that's
Right.
real. So anyway, so now we're talking about this thing, the pacing man. You saw the video, right? All right, so anyone who's listening now, if you want to Google, just go on YouTube and type in the pacing man, and you'll know the video we're talking about. Okay, so I described it as you saw it, right? Would you say? Okay, some figure in the distance, not that far, probably 150 feet, maybe, if that.
It was out pretty good. I mean, it was a good distance out. I don't know,
but in going back and forth in the same kind of motion, sometimes disappearing behind the trees, but sometimes not. But in an odd way, looking more like a projection than a human being. So, what are your thoughts on it?
The thing about this is it's in broad daylight. We're not talking. This is with night vision on a security camera or anything like that. This thing is out there in broad daylight, walking around. So, it would be hard to fake this. I mean, there are homeless people. There are crazy. There are
people who live in the woods.
There are people who live in the woods and don't want to be bothered.
Right.
And they're near a church. Maybe maybe they've got an issue. I mean, Mac and I see all summer long. There's a guy who walks out to a beach down the turnpike every day. And he's got the same exact clothes on. He has a red bathing suit. He carries a bag on his shoulder. He has earplugs in. And this guy every day
and that's
walks
all he
miles and miles back and miles out and miles back.
Well, that's true. But do you see? Is it? In your opinion, is that a real person out there, or is it just?
I would say it's
a
real person.
But walking back and forth for hours at a time, and it almost looks like they're recreating the walk perfectly. You know what I mean?
But it could be someone that was in a prison cell for how many years and just paced back and forth. By 6 foot by 8 foot cell.
Okay.
You never. I mean, there's nothing there that shows that that's fake.
Right. Yes.
And so it's somebody.
How about a ghost?
Muscle memory almost.
But ghosts in broad daylight walking around out in the sun. That's kind of odd to me. I would think.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not a believer, but to me, it would seem if this guy's wandering back and forth, and when the people went out to confront it, they ran.
Right.
Before, put a camera out right near it.
Well, they put a trail camera out there.
Right. Or, just because it yelled, they were yelling, do you need help? And it yelled back, no, in a very loud, menacing voice. and they ran. I mean,
the fact that it's never true, so you might be right. Well, anyway, so it's plausible, but don't you agree it's kind of creepy?
Oh,
the whole
it's
thing?
weird. It's very strange. But again, it could be someone who just
is out there doing it.
Yeah, just has nothing else going on.
Okay, so anyway, the second. Go ahead, please jump in, please.
Sorry. The only thing that trips me up is that you can't even see like clothing or anything.
Yeah.
But aside the point from that, we need to talk about this person that's by you guys in the red bathing suit.
Oh yeah.
That's a dead person.
No.
Right?
No. This guy, what he does is he's been arrested several times for bathing nude out on the beach. Okay. He's got some issues.
Oh, he sounds great.
But he's you've seen him for decades. He looks the same. He's in these orange bathing suit during the summer, mostly the warm weather, but not always, sometimes it's chilly, but you see him always like that with the bottle of water and the bag and listen to the Yimmer.
No shirt. And at the beginning of the summer, the bathing suit's bright red.
Yeah.
And then as the summer wears on,
it's
bleaching lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. But he's walking down the same street,
And
same
we're
time of day.
100% sure he's not dead.
Oh, yeah.
No, he's been in. Yeah, no,
I see him.
they've arrested him.
I see him at Market Basket.
Right. Getting his water. But that's a bad supermarket. It's a pick.
He's buying.
I'm sorry.
But the funny thing with him is one thing I did find out about him is he doesn't like dogs. No. Because I was walking a Siberian Husky down the sidewalk, and he was on the same coming at me one afternoon, one summer. And when he looked at the dog, he crossed the street. And I've never heard the man speak a word.
No, he's got
even a Market Basket.
Raven, you are correct.
I'm right, because dead people don't
This
talk.
guy is
and
a
they
ghost
don't
or a
like
wraith, a respecter.
Thank you, Alex.
He's funny.
And then we put cops have arrested the ghost twice for nude sunbathing. So
and when they
This is a
posted
dead
it,
man. He doesn't know he's nude.
he doesn't know he's nude.
he finds a nice secluded spot and tries to be very nonchalant about it. But he's gotten busted because people have walked down to the beach and oops, there he is.
What the hell's that?
But he's minding his own business.
Yeah, right. But should leave him alone.
He doesn't want tan lines in the afterlife.
Well, see,
you guys live in Massachusetts. He should now move to
New Hampshire, where that kind of behavior is.
Nantucket. Where
God.
it is
different
totally
not yet
legal.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, they passed that. That's good. So anyway, now for the second video is the one. Which one? We'll go to the one in England there.
There's one. It's by Dark Element TV,
right?
Which is where you see basically the edge of the woods,
right,
and the legs,
right.
And it's dark as hell in there.
What's the name? But what's the name of that? That so people can look it up.
Let's see.
It's a guy. He's in England, and it's about 10 years old or even older. And
it's called Ghost Video Shadow in Dudleytown Woods.
Yep.
And his channel is Dark Element TV. So
the Dudley Woods.
This is 14 years ago. He posted this.
And when you see this, once again, it to me it's similar to the Pacing Man because it almost looks like some people say it looks like the alien from the monster alien from Alien. It kind of has that shape, but you do see something pass through the woods. It's almost transparent, but there is definitely something there.
Right.
What in your opinion?
Again, I don't see it's faked. Maybe staged, but nobody built this picture. No one built this video. There was something there, and the thing that trips you up every time is the woods are so dark.
Right, they're very dark.
And they're dark within 2 feet of coming out of the sun. They're boom. It's pitch black.
People mention how dark the woods are.
Right.
But something is there. Something is there, and to me, it doesn't seem like worth it or go through the expense of trying to fake something like this. Because if you're going to fake something like this, it would look better.
Well, go extreme. If you're going to fake it, go for broke.
Right.
I mean,
yes.
Do the Loch Ness monster.
So what is it?
It could be a prank. It could be just something going through the woods that looks funny at a distance. You never know.
It's strange.
People do. I mean, if you go on to any search engine and you just put
Yeah,
in
sure,
trail cam pictures.
There's lots of stuff in there,
Oh,
right?
man, you see, there's clowns and there's all kinds of crazy stuff.
Clowns.
There's a woman with a bass fiddle.
Well, yeah, but that obviously there were people who are screwing with the people who own the camera,
right.
You know?
But again, this could be the same thing.
It almost looks like a projection, almost like a cartoon or something walking through and the pacing man, the same thing. It looked to me like it was the same loop of something, saying he didn't really change his demeanor or his posture or anything. It's just this constant pacing back and forth, like he was doing it somewhere else or something. But both of those videos creep me up. But now for the third one, this is the strange one, because the guy basically went down to Gettysburg, where you hear a lot of ghost stories take place in Gettysburg, and set up a camera on a road there that was, close to a major battle. And that's all he does, is he just sets up his camera, and you're looking down this road. You're kind of in the woods, but then you go through a clearing. It looks like there's a cornfield on both sides. It's literally a little dirt road, okay?
Right, exactly.
Okay, but then you wait, and then all of a sudden you do see the same kind of figure. It doesn't look real. It looks like a projection, like a cartoon almost of a real figure walking across the road. And then another one walking across the road. I mean, they're transparent. You can see through them. Right. Okay. But what was your thoughts on that? Because I have thoughts on it.
Well, I mean, when you look at that.
This is just go to Gettysburg Road. I forget the name. It
says Gettysburg Ghost, most authentic video to date.
Right.
And it's by the channel, I think, is T.C. Ballinger.
T.C. Ballinger.
And now this, again, the thing about this one that's kind of weird is this was done years ago, 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
This is nothing. This isn't a new video. This is nothing now.
Right.
Now, when I read through the thing, it said that when this guy took this video, he didn't see any of the activity,
mm-hmm.
but when he played it back, now all of a sudden it's showing back.
Interesting.
Now, I don't know what he used to make this, whether he used a digital camera or did he use a tape, high 8 or one of those other types.
Looks pretty clear, though.
It looks pretty clear. I mean, a high 8 for its day would have done fine. But, again, I don't think you could, staging this, again, why would you?
Well, here's my question then. Okay, so of the three, to me, if any of them was going to be staged or fixed, it's that one.
This one.
Because, once again, the figures move exactly the same way. It's just kind of like, step, 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 you're in the cornfield.
Right.
Step, step. It almost could be the same person. They look exactly the same, but there are these ghostly figures crossing the road.
And they're crossing out of a dark area into the light of the street and then back into a dark area.
Right.
It's funny, but back in the day, I know of people that took film or took, home movies,
right,
and either double exposed by mistake,
yes, sure,
or like on one of the like a Betamax or one of the the big old machines, they record over something,
right,
and depending on how good the erase head is on those,
you could get
some junk could still be laying in there,
right.
Now,
but this would be the luckiest double exposure ever because it looks like freaking ghosts.
Because the degraded image in the background of the people walking look like ghosts because they were supposed to be erased, but there's still a trace of them there.
Yeah.
Now, I've actually seen someone had, I don't know if you guys remember, there was a place in Wakefield, Mass. Called Pleasure Island.
Oh, yeah, Pleasure Island, sure. It's like with Disneyland for those poor kids.
It was it was a small amusement park.
Right.
And one of their big claim to fame was they
moved out of the combat zone and moved out to Wakefield.
Wait, that's a different one. Go ahead.
They had Moby Dick, the white whale.
No, maybe it's the same one.
Yeah.
Okay. Now they made up this fake white whale and they built railroad tracks down into the swamp.
Yep.
And he was hydraulically lifted out, and when they brought you out there on a tour boat, and in the middle of this big swamp, this big white whale pops his head out right next to the boat, and the guy fakes a couple of bullets at him, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, okay.
So I know of a guy who went in there one time.
Fake violence to entertain the children.
Right.
Yeah, and they had...
Killing a whale.
Yeah. in a swamp in Wakefield, a freshwater swamp in Wakefield.
Okay, go ahead.
But this gentleman took a
that's
film of that, and he had already used the tape.
Yes.
And it didn't erase everything underneath.
Okay,
so
yeah.
I've actually seen the tape, and it's a residential street in Drake that Moby Dick comes up out of the street.
Yeah. Oh, that is possible.
And
then.
you look at it, and you go, wow, and it blends really, really well. And you go, wow, how much work did this take? It was just
here's the difference though. Okay, is that, and we're talking about whether things can be how ghosts can be faked on a videotape, and we're discovering very hard and very expensively, but that's unplanned. You get a guy, I mean, if it's in the head of this guy that I'm going to go to Gettysburg and I'm going to fake a tape, okay, he has to go through a whole bunch of different things, okay?
I would say the easiest way, I would think, and again, I did retouching on still photography, not on motion stuff. But what I would say is, if you want to make this something like that and make it look good, you would take and you would project the people onto a screen,
and take a video of that,
and you know, bring down the contrast and everything, and make them light,
right? Yep.
And then project from another angle the actual street, and you know, and you can adjust it and make it work, and then make the video.
It can be done, yeah. Well,
you know that's not really high tech.
Yeah.
You know, it's not millions of dollars worth of hardware.
Yeah, true. Well, I'll tell you, take a look at those 3 videos. To me, I mean, the Gettysburg one is the one that, you know, in my mind, if one's going to be fake, there'll be that one. The one in the Dudley Woods in England, man, I don't know what's going on there, but the pacing, man, is just something for me. Like you say, it's the broad daylight, and there's something going on over there, whether it's a ghost or, like you say, maybe someone who feels they need to be near the church or something, who knows. But something is going on over there, and it's very creepy. And just, it's weird. We know that guy walking down Plum Island every day, but this is walking back and forth.
This guy's pacing.
But like hours and hours and weeks and weeks. I mean, that's insane behavior.
But, you know, the thing is, if these people really wanted to make this, you know, to find out one way or the other, go up there and talk to him. If he disappears while you're walking up there, you know, vanishes.
Then you know.
Okay, or, you know, you like you say, you set up a trail camera.
Yeah,
There's ways, or get, you know, get the neighbors to come over and hang out. You know, so it's not just you. Take turns.
Yeah.
There's a way to find out. You know, these things are
not impossible.
You never know. And again, it's not like I'm a non-believer.
Right?
I've lived in haunted houses. Believe me, I've had stuff happen that, you know, it's like, wow.
That's definitely another show.
Yeah, exactly.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we calm down, regroup, and take a commercial break now, and we'll be right back after this. You're listening to Mack Maloney's Military Show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network.
I was in the hospital with my son for 18 months.
When he got injured, I wasn't prepared, but I knew I had to be strong.
When I was told about John's injury, I was in complete shock. I just remember rushing into his room and giving him a big hug and letting him know I was there.
These veterans and families are just a few of the heroes we serve at Homes for Our Troops. For thousands of severely injured veterans, everyday life is filled with barriers.
It was really the little things throughout the house. Counters that you can't roll up to.
I had to drag my wheelchair down steps.
I want to help, but he is so determined.
At Homes for Our Troops, we build specially adapted custom homes with features like wheelchair access, roll-in showers, and automatic door openers that allow them to function independently and focus on their recovery and family.
This house is freedom.
It's hope. It's a new beginning.
This house has given me my family back.
To learn more, visit hfotusa.org.
Welcome back, everyone, to Mack Maloney's Military Show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. This is Mack Maloney. What a show we've had for you tonight. Let me quickly introduce you to the unindicted co-conspirators. The very famous Juan is here.
Hello, Mac. Hello, girls. You took the handcuffs off me so I can participate in the show tonight.
Is that what happened? Okay. Wow. No Coco, no Switch, but they will be joining us in the very near future. Our favorite good witch, Raven, is up there in Sideways, New York. Raven.
Hi. Thanks for having me. I'm here.
She was just laughing uncontrollably on
You guys are making me LOL.
LOL. We've made her LOL. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but
that is a good thing.
Also in the studio with us tonight, making a rare appearance, is Al Ronaldo, UFO mechanic. Al.
Good evening, folks. Good evening, Mac.
Also not making that rare appearance is Agent X.
Hello, Mac. Thanks for having me, and I've learned so much tonight.
Have you really? Yeah. Okay. Good for you.
Yes.
Also joining us is, she's now a super fan, but we'll see what happens after the show is over, is Susan Kauppila.
How are you doing?
Did I get it right?
I think you pronounced it wrong. I mean, come on. It's like...
It's okay. It's
No. Well, that means I pronounced it right. Kauppila.
Kauppila.
What did I say? Kauppila. What is it?
Right?
That's it, Kauppila.
Okay.
Kauppila.
Kauppila.
I don't want to get too personal, but what was your maiden name before you got married? Was it Smith or something?
No, it was German, so it was Neubauer, which was really Neibauer till we came over. Means new farmer in German, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, wow, huh?
Correct.
Okay.
What was your
Neubauer.
social?
I would have goofed that one up too, so I guess I can't win.
Neubauer is just like Kauppila. It's Smith in German. Neubauer is very common German.
Why is it really?
That's so interesting.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. How long were you over there goofing up relations with Russia there? X. How long were you in Berlin?
Say again.
He lost his hearing when he was a tank commander. How long were you in Berlin in the service of our country?
I was in West Germany.
West Germany.
Free tours, 11 years.
Yeah, that long, huh? Hmm.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. And we still didn't go to war. Good for him. So anyway.
Well, just keep that thought.
Okay. That's right. Anyway. So.
The wall was up when you were over there, right?
Of course it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you hear the story about the guy? Remember when the wall came down, that how big, how momentous that whole week was when they started knocking the wall down and the whole Iron Curtain fell?
I remember when I was first shown on TV and I was watching it.
Where were you? In East Berlin?
I was in a PC shop in Dover, New Hampshire, getting some like Ethernet cables or something. And I'm going, what the heck is this going on now?
Does this thing have a snoring sound effect on it? So, but anyway, there was a guy who lived in East Berlin who had taken 20 years to dig this tunnel, and he broke through the day they knocked the wall down.
That'd be my luck.
What's the lesson?
That sounds like an urban legend.
It isn't an urban legend.
That's a real thing.
It's a real thing that happened.
Because his lady was on the other side, and they wanted to meet.
There you go.
And they did.
Have coitus.
That makes it even more sound like an urban
And
legend.
he got a lot of people out.
Yeah.
It's a real thing.
Why do you have to be the cold water on everything there, X? You know? What's the matter with you?
I like the story, but I'm just skeptical.
Anyway.
Okay, where's the fact? Who's the fact checker on the staff now?
It's Coco.
Me, I
He's
am.
not. Oh, I'm sorry.
The facts have been checked.
I like the
Everything
story. I've heard
passes.
it before. It sounds really romantic and sentimental, and
you don't believe it either.
You know, no, I believe stories like that. I'm wired to believe stories like that.
Okay, then I'm going to tell you a
Go with
story.
it.
You tell me if you believe this or not. Okay. All right. So anyway, once again, we're just like throwing around topics and stuff off air during the week before we do the show. And I don't know how I got into this one, but this kind of fascinated me too. Okay, so they just uncovered. Well, not in recent years. Let's say they were like doing over this little chapel in Europe, and they washed away the paint that had been put there, and there was a mural behind it. Okay. That had been painted in, let's see, 1535. Okay, so we're going way back, all right? Nice. Now, this painting it looks like, your regular kind of, medieval painting. Not everything's in scale and everything. You can understand what it looks like, right? But it's a church in this village. It was in a church, and it's a picture of the church on the outside, and there's a huge flying saucer over it, okay? Looks just like a flying saucer. Got a smoke trail, got a beam of light coming out of it, the works. Now, it's not the first time. There's a lot of medieval paintings or Da Vinci paintings, Michelangelo paintings, where you see little, not even little, they're kind of prominent, what would be UFOs, we would think, flying saucers or whatever. Okay, this one had that. So in that regard, it was like more of the same. What was interesting is that this village is called, talk about goofing up names, it's called Sighisoara, I think. Sighisoara. Anyway, it's in Romania, and it's where Dracula was born. Okay, so that has now led to this whole idea that, hey, maybe Dracula was an alien, okay? And that's what they're trying to tell us, right? So
I like how Mack follows the dots on this one.
Yeah, more like a dotted line. But anyway,
He's following the dots in his floating around. He's following the floaters in his eyes after the smoke break.
What? Wow.
The floaters like cataracts.
So anyway, that's where this guy was born. Now his first name was really Vlad, okay, and he was the son of a guy named Dracula, and that means dragon in Romanian. So that's how he became Dracula. Now, this Vlad the Impaler was a real guy. He was like the king of what was Romania back then for about 6 years in the mid 1500s or so, and on one respect, he was really respected by a lot of people because he's the one, I guess, that kept the Ottomans out of Romania. Who the hell knows, right? But he protected his people. However, he was like this really sadistic guy. I mean, he would. It's estimated, conservatively estimated, that in his 6 years of rule, he actually killed 100,000 innocent people. Just because they didn't agree with him.
So, like, not that many.
Not that many. Right, there's too many people in Romania anyway at the time. But look. But
by himself? Or
he had his people do it, but he had all different kind of ways of doing it. Now, you already know, Susan and Raven, you might want to block your ears because this stuff is, like, really, really bad. Okay? Anyone blocking their ears? Juan, you're blocking your ears.
No, never.
Well, they used to, like, cook children and, feed them to the mothers. And they used to, like, cut up the wives and make the husband eat them. And then they'd impale them. And it was, like, crazy. He used to use human blood like people would use gravy on their meals. This is, like, really nuts. So this one guy made a point of, he's so inhuman. How can we prove he's human? I mean, this is really, like, literally inhuman behavior. And they've put this whole thing together that, hey, maybe they're trying to tell us something in this painting, that this guy is somehow affected by, I don't know.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I mean, isn't he crazy enough to be? No. Anyway.
The painting is wild.
I mean, somebody painted it. It's got to be a reason.
Right, yeah. Yep.
I haven't seen it.
He had one.
I'll have to say, I'll put it on the show's Instagram.
Okay.
Because people need to see this. It's really crazy.
Yeah.
And you would think that this is the 1500s, so I don't know, like how much are people thinking up and painting that isn't like preemptively in their brain from other images that they've seen.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's such a prominent
it's pretty crazy.
It's a prominent part of the picture. I think in I don't know whether it's one of Michelangelo's pictures or Da Vinci, you can see what looks like flying saucers in the background. There's famous French paintings. I forget what they call them. I think they call them Jeannettes or something. And there's really kind of prominent UFOs, little heads in them and everything like that, and lights and smoke trails and stuff like that. So it's like, well, maybe they see these things before, but those are almost like afterthoughts in some of those paintings. This thing is kind of like, it's the main thing. Besides the church, it's like the main thing in the painting. And as some art expert, said back then, is that, they just didn't throw stuff in paintings back then. Everything seemed to mean something, They wouldn't waste space. Paint.
It's where your eyes go
church.
first.
Right.
100%.
Yeah, it's where your eyes go first. Is right. Yeah.
But it's in a church. Why would, blasphemy, I mean, come on.
Who knows?
Why would you put it in a church of all places unless you really did?
In Dracula's hometown.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Why else would you put it there?
Why else would you put it there?
You're Dracula and you're a vampire, but you're actually an alien and you need blood to survive.
Right. We've had real vampires on here. We have. Remember that one?
Yep. Yeah.
We had a real vampire on. And the way that he did his thing. Well, he was also.
He didn't drink a lot, though. He had really minimal taste of blood.
Well, he was also transitioning into a woman too, I think, at the time, or maybe the other way around. But he had a lot of stuff going on. But he used to just go over to people's houses, prearranged, and let them, and they'd open a vein or something, and they'd let him suck his blood. Okay, suck their blood. All right, and
right.
I remember once someone said, "Well, what did you pay them?"
Teaspoonfuls.
What did you pay them? And he said, "I used to bring them a pizza." That was it.
I mean, if the pizza's that good,
Is it really?
yeah, sign me up.
Worth sucking a little blood.
100%.
Well, anyway, so in vampires, I'm always like a big fan of vampire movies. I used to watch them like crazy as a kid. There was just something about vampires that were extra creepy, you know. And he also used to sleep during the day. Dracula, did you know that? Yeah, this guy Vlad the Impaler never went out during the daytime. He went out at night. He also, they said he was able to control animals and so on. I mean, he's a weird guy. Other than the fact that he slaughtered lots of people, you know, in the cruelest way possible. He had a lot of weird things going. So, you know, who knows? So was Dracula from outer space? Planet of the Vampires would be a cool book, cool movie.
Oh, that would be great.
Planet of the Vampires.
I mean, I don't know.
Sounds like an
I
Ed
guess
Wood movie.
Yeah, it writes itself. Go
What do you
ahead.
think of Ed Wood?
Yes. I guess I don't know. Maybe people can let us know what they think.
Yes. All the blood.
It makes you wonder. I mean, the sleeping during the day, I feel like that's like set aside for
A
me.
lot of people do
because
that.
That's a great idea.
Yes, right.
Period.
Yes.
That isn't weird to me. It's the
Roaming the night.
drinking blood, turning into bats.
Yes.
The teeth. Oh my God, I didn't put my vampire teeth in.
Let's see it. Still time. Okay. Now, here we go. Wow. Please.
They don't fit on
This-
teeth. But I can
Get some super glue.
Yeah, super glue them in there. Wow. Okay.
Upside down.
Upside down.
Right,
Okay.
Susan.
Thank you,
Oh,
Susan.
they are upside down.
Okay. All right. Well, you're not that good of a vampire, it turns out.
Some vampire you are.
Okay. Oh, man. Wow.
Vampires used to be cool until
Well
the
done,
Twilight.
slept in a coffin, right?
Good point. You know,
He didn't just sleep anywhere. He didn't,
Al just said, you know,
queen bed or something.
vampires were cool until they started that whole Twilight series where they turned out to be like wimpy kids, right? Wimpy
And they
kind of.
sparkle in the sun. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I never saw any of those.
I mean, it's like you think of vampires and you think like Dracula, even Nosferatu, Interview with the Vampire, and Lost Boys.
Lost Boys
And
is
then
a weird
Twilight
movie, man.
loses you
Lost
completely.
Boys.
And it's like, what is
Yeah.
happening?
Lost Boys
Lost
is a
Boys.
weird freaking movie, even though all those dopey actors are in it. It's a crazy movie. You know, the thing too about vampire movies is, I've always thought, is it's really a thinly veiled kind of sexual thing. Okay, because it's usually, you know, like some dominant guy, some innocent, you know, female or whatever, and he's sucking her blood. And it's a seductive thing. You know, a lot of times they're seduced into doing it, you know. And there's a lot of romance in those movies, except...
Who played a vampire? Frank Langella played a vampire in some movie.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the name of the movie, but Eileen fell in love with Frank Langella and said, he can suck my blood anytime.
Oh! Okay, this
Tom Cruise
Mack
was a
After Dark
vampire.
#6.
Yes, he was.
Okay.
Yes. And
he was in
that
Interview with the
movie you're
Vampire with
talking
his
about,
little suit.
Twilight.
Yes.
Twilight.
Yes.
Raven, I think you brought it up.
No, Al did, but go
That
ahead.
was one of you guys brought it up.
Go ahead.
That was, I believe, only from what I read on the internet, so it must be true.
Yes.
True.
Twilight appealed only to middle age to elderly women. No one else.
What's he talking
A lot
about?
of young girls, I don't like.
Yeah,
I
everyone
young
dropped
girls.
Maybe like when you
back
say
and look at it.
middle-aged to elderly, you're talking maybe 10 to 16, and then that's it.
That's it. Then they're scenes.
I read the first couple books, and
Yes.
the books were okay.
Yes.
And then I watched the movies, and I was like, "What did I was so disturbed."
Yeah, what
by
did they
the
do to the
movies.
book? That a lot of that
The
happens a lot.
books
Yep.
were like, "I'm not reading these anymore. This
Yep.
is garbage. I'm not doing it."
That guy, and they had a lot of drama because what's her name? Christine, what's her name, was in it.
Kristen Stewart.
And then the guy was her boyfriend at the time. They were together on the set. Then they broke up after it. I forget his name, but he's the new Batman now. I mean, of all the people, he's like the new.
He was in Harry Potter.
Robert
Yes, he was.
Robert
Cedric
Patterson.
Diggory.
No,
I can't think of his name.
Robert
He's
Patterson.
in the new Batman, and Mr. Raven said it was really good.
Who is it, Susan?
The new Batman movie? I have to check that out.
Susan, did
He
you
said
see
it?
it?
Robert Pattinson.
Right. Hey, Susan, have you seen the new Batman movie?
I have not. I'm a little on the fence because, I'm used to big, brawny, strong guys, and I don't know how Pattinson's going to do, but I've heard good things about it. So
they've not to get on Batman and the people who make those movies, but boy, they've made some really bad Batman movies. Did you ever see Batman versus Superman? Did you ever see that?
No, I haven't.
2.5 hours of lots of
don't
special
bother.
effects at night, so you can't see what's going on. And plus, the premise is stupid anyway, because if you really follow that stuff, it would take one punch from Superman to knock Batman up to Pluto somewhere, right? So what kind of a fight could they really have? Terrible. Ben Affleck must have been in another world when he signed that contract.
Oh, God.
So anyway, hey, listen, Susan, so we had an email from you today, and you talked about this ghost train, too. I love ghost trains. Can you tell us about it?
I like ghost ships.
Ghost
Sure.
ships. This is ghost train.
yeah, I like ghost ships too. But so this is one of my favorite stories. It's called the Zanetti Train, and it's from July 14th of 1911. And 106 passengers, including the crew, took the train on a free ride of the Italian countryside. The trip was only offered to the well-to-do Italians.
Ooh.
Upon reaching a tunnel, black smoke and a strange white fog enveloped the train, and they never reached their destination. The passengers enjoyed refreshment, scenic countryside, but were really looking forward to the new tunnel that went through a mountain, one of the longest in its time. The train entered the half-mile tunnel in Lombardy Mountain and never came out.
Wow.
It just disappeared.
Sounds like the MBTA.
Sorry?
It sounds like the MBTA. They've had situations like that. The local transit here in Boston. Go ahead, Susan.
They found a man named Charlie in the tunnel. Wandering
Never
around.
returned.
Never return. Go ahead, please, Susan.
Railway workers and police searched the tunnel but never found a clue to what happened. No trace of the train. The tunnel was just a long tube with nowhere to go, no train, no signs of a crash. Wow. Now, 2 passengers jumped off the train before entering the tunnel due to the black smoke that came out of nowhere, as well as a dense white fog. The fog began to envelop the train, and these 2 men panicked and jumped off. An unclear humming sound could be heard, and a milky white fog was seen. It swallowed the train and the last car, and the last car seemed to split open. It became so horrifying, the train was barely moving, and this passenger witnessed another passenger jumping from the train. So the train was never seen again. The 2 men suffered trouble sleeping, stress disorders since the incident.
Yes.
And the notorious tunnel happened to get bombed during World War II, which closed it off forever. Dozens witnessed the train leaving Rome and enter the tunnel, but no one saw it come out. Now, records of medieval monks witnessed the train, which was impossible during this time, as the only method of travel was horseback. Reports were kept in record of Castle Solia by the Sagino family, and one survivor had the name Sagino. Then in the 1840s, it was said the Zanetti passengers were seen in Mexico. 104 Italians were all admitted in a hysterical state. They were dressed in strange clothes, cleanly shaven, and the passengers claimed they were traveling from Rome on the Zanetti train. One of the passengers even had a cigarette box dated 1907, which is still kept in a Mexican museum today.
Wow.
Many years later, again, the train appeared in Europe on October 29th, 1955. A 3-car old-fashioned train appeared in Zavolichi, a small village in Ukraine. And a signalman, Piotr Ustimenko, saw it moving soundlessly. He reported he suddenly saw a train headed where there were no train tracks, and it was headed towards Gasfort Mountain. The curtains were shut, the doors were open, and the driver's cabin was empty. And this wasn't the last account of the sighting. Now, could the trains serve as natural electronic conductors between the Earth's natural magnetic fields and artificial ones?
Maybe.
Wow.
They wonder, could it create fractures in time with endless holes? And based on Einstein's theory of relativity and Minkowski's definition of distance, these fractures are called coronal holes. Sometime before the Zanetti train left the station, there had been an earthquake where the cracks were under Lombardy Mountain, where the tunnel was, which created a time anomaly at the entrance to the tunnel. The train became the link necessary to dig between time and space, and it fell from its time vector where it belonged and could move to other times.
Wow. Okay. You know what's strange, though? About that's a great story and stuff like that. Like I said, creep me out. But when you think about it, you know, there are ghost ships, right? You said you're a fan of ghost ships. Me too, because, you know, they find ships floating out in the ocean somewhere.
All the time.
And the food is still warm in the kitchen and all that stuff, and no one is there. It doesn't make any sense. You hear about ghost airplanes, especially in World War II. People still see like World War II airplanes flying over England and look like they're landing somewhere. They see Spitfires all the time. There's only like 4 Spitfires actually flying, you know. But a ghost train, I mean, why not? You know, I mean, you have a ghost plane, you have a ghost ship. Why not a ghost train? Whatever's happening to those first 2 things must be happening to it. But that's odd for the train just to take off and not to get there, completely disappear, and then they wind up in Mexico. What kind of travel agency are they dealing with there? And they were hysterical and clean-shaven. What's going on?
It definitely makes you wonder because, I mean, the train is literally on tracks. So where can it go?
Where can it go? Right, yeah.
It makes you kind of think, I mean, when they talk about cryptids, especially like Bigfoot, it's like, okay, what if they're from like another universe, another dimension? There's like a rift in time. Did they go through like a wormhole?
That's something.
How do you end up in Mexico from Rome?
Good question. I mean, but why does it seem to happen to people who are traveling somewhere by some means, by a boat, by a plane, you know, by a train? Maybe there are ghost buses out there. You know, who knows? You know, thank you, Susan, for that. That's a very cool story. I love stories like that.
Yeah, that's great.
Speaking about trains not going anywhere, if Switch was here, he would have put up the graphic of the train pulling into the station, or crashing into the station, because
Switch probably would have known the name of the conductor.
That's true.
The conductor was a... the engineer was a ghost engineer. He really wasn't there. That's why the train crashed into another train.
What's the name of that? There's some really cheap wine. Isn't that called Ghost Train? Oh, Night Train. Sorry, how could I forget
There's
that?
Thunderbird. There's
that was my high school years.
Mad Dog 2020.
Mad Dog 2020. Great stuff.
Ripple.
Ripple.
We drank that in high school.
Ripple.
I think the best ghost movie is Ghost Ship with Gabriel Byrne.
Yeah, I got to see that. It's supposed to be really good.
Movie.
Unbelievable.
So listen, we will just say before we go that sometime within the next few weeks, well, first of all, in a couple weeks, we're going to have General Tom Wiedemeyer from Homes for Our Troops on, and also Phil Orbain is going to do the top 10 spies of in history. But what I was going to say is in the next 2 or 3 weeks, we're in the month of May now, 2022. We don't like to date the shows. However, there is 2 things happening that might have an effect on how, we live here on Earth, and they both have to do with outer space. Number one, there's going to be some kind of a scientific astrological announcement sometime in the middle of this month. So the next time you hear us, it should have already been announced. Something big. Of course, they could be hyping this thing like crazy, but it's like something having to do with the galaxy, the Milky Way, the universe, whatever, some big deal. So that's something we can look forward to. Or if it's just spin, then it'll be nothing. The second thing is, I saw it today. Someone sent me a picture of what this James Webb Space Telescope is doing. This was this huge telescope, extremely complex, that they have put now about 1 million miles out from Earth. And it has the capability to do two things. Number one, it's able to look back in so far. Its telescope is so powerful that it can look back the 13 billion years to the beginning of time, and it might actually look beyond the Big Bang. It might actually give us a picture of the universe before the Big Bang happened. Okay,
how's that possible?
Okay, right. How's that possible?
Come on.
Oh, God.
But that's what they built it for. The second thing that's really interesting that they're doing is that it has instruments on it that will be able to tell if there's carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, stuff like that. Listen, what we have to do real quickly is take a break, and then we're going to wrap up the show. It fixed itself. Isn't that strange?
That's weird. Yeah.
That's Bob the Ghost now. Isn't that strange?
Bob fixed it.
Yeah, Bob fixed it. Anyway, so we don't have
Hey,
to take
Bob.
we don't have to take the break. Yeah, thank you. Hi, Bob. Thanks for stopping by and saying hi. Let's go around the horn. Susan, say it, please. Kauppila. I can't get that. He's a good director. Now, there you go, Juan. Big mouth.
He's
Francis
good.
Ford is a really, really good
Francis
director.
Ford Kauppila?
Yep.
Correct.
Yep. Really good. I mean, he has very few crummy movies in the Godfather trilogy. The first two, I watched them again. It had to be like the 200th time.
You can't not watch it. I can watch them even when it's on a commercial channel.
It's
I can
crazy.
still watch it.
Yep. That's how good those
But
movies are.
Sophia Coppola is really good too.
Yes. Yep. So thank you, Susan, for joining us. This has been in the works for a while. Was it everything you thought and more, or was that everything kind of a disappointment?
And so much more.
Really? So much more?
Yay.
Okay.
And this is a good behind-the-scenes look at the Mack Maloney's Military X-Files show.
The well-oiled
Like, it's
machine. Okay.
You see every cog, every wheel.
He said cog.
And I enjoy it. So thank
Every
you
guy
so much.
greasing those cogs and wheels.
And Susan, please excuse my friend Mack for the graphic stories about Vlad the Impaler and all of that. I will counsel him later.
I thought it was going to be the joke about the doctor's office, but okay. So, no. Anyway, Susan, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. Okay. X, thank you for joining us. X, you learned a lot. You got that green knitted sweater on. You're all set, right?
Yes.
Ready to say your prayers and go to bed? Okay.
Thank you for having me. And
wow.
Some of you guests pointed out that this is indeed a soccer shirt, and they were right.
Okay. Good.
Thanks again.
Let's see. Let's say goodbye to Al first. Al, thanks for joining us.
Hey, glad to be here.
Give us your expert opinion on whether those videos were faked or not. Okay.
They're pretty shaky. I don't know.
We got to go have a post-show debriefing down at the watering hole. Okay. Thank you, Al.
No problem.
Thank you, Raven. I'm trying to put it off, but I can't. It's that time of the night that we have to say goodbye to you. And
Thank you so much for having me. This was great. I learned so much. I always
Thank you
learn
so much, Raven.
Did you have those vampire teeth around, or did you buy them for the show?
No, I've had these.
Had these. Okay.
I mean, again, because of who I am as a person, of course I have vampire teeth just laying around.
I'm just curious. What's Mr. Raven think of the vampire teeth?
What do you think she is anyway? Raven, how many tattoos do you have?
Oh, God, I have a bunch.
That's another show.
I'll send you pictures.
Oh, whoa, wait, hang on.
See how easy that was, Mac?
Yeah, it's like your Juan. And Juan, thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
We'll talk to you soon. And very quickly, the plugs are, if you want a bag of swag, just go to MackMaloney.com, hit the contact button, and give us your mailing address, and we will send you a bag of swag. Susan, you've got the swag, right?
I did. Yes. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Love the bar coasters.
Everyone loves the bar coasters, as it turns out.
The bar coasters?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Once you know they're the most expensive thing in the bag of swag. But anyway, people want them, so we keep sending them out. Also, bag of swag, go to MackMaloney.com, hit the contact button, and send us your mailing address. Not just your email address, your mailing address. We'll have a bag of swag sent out to you. Toot sweet. Also, Homes for Our Troops. Homes for Our Troops is a military organization that builds homes for wounded veterans of military action after 9/11, so basically the Afghan War and the Iraqi War. They came back to this country, maybe missing a limb, and Homes for Our Troops built houses that are specially adapted to people like this. Lower counter space, no stairs, easier for them to get around in. And then when the house is built, they give them the keys. They tear up the mortgage. They give them the house. They deserve it. Homes for Our Troops, 88 cents from every dollar you give goes right to our veterans. And that's very, very high in the charity biz. And they have just a really great success story. And these houses are, $450,000, $480,000, $480,000 free house. Okay. And they just give them the keys. I think it's great. It shouldn't be like that. The government should be doing it. It shouldn't be a private organization. But until that day comes, just Google Homes for Our Troops, see what they're up to. Hopefully donate a couple bucks to them. And I think that's it for the show. So
People's Mosquito Project.
People's Mosquito Project, right? Yeah. When are they going to finish the friggin' plane? I mean, I want to go nuts here.
I know they're building 2 planes, right? I'm going to try and find out because Ross Sharp wants me to get plugged into their program in some way.
Okay. All right. So you'll report on that then, I guess, right?
I will. I'm going to report live from the factory floor.
Okay, cool. If you can find it, that'd be nice. I get a feeling it's like in a pub somewhere. You know what I mean? Don't you have the feeling that they're really having these meetings over some pints and so on and bitters? No? Is that just me?
Yeah, no, I think it's real. It's just that, it's all donations.
Mm-hmm.
It's all,
but World War
volunteers.
II didn't last this long. I mean, they've been going at this for about 10 years now. Right.
But they're building the thing from scratch.
Okay. All right. They're building it from wreckage they found in New Zealand. So it must be kind of hard, too. But anyway, you look into it once you get over the UK.
I'll look into it once I get over there. Ross is going to invite me to be a presenter at some of the aircraft museums. Now, you know how much I know about it. Aircraft, right?
Wow. So you'll be
especially aircraft made out of wood. The glue.
Yeah, right. What, are you getting high? You're getting high from the glue now all of a sudden? Is that what you're saying?
Right, yeah.
Okay, good.
You should be a presenter about Charlestown.
Yeah. So I
should, yeah.
He's at a British museum, switches down at the Mothman Museum. It makes us feel like chumps.
70s, the Bunker Hill Day parades. Sullivan Square in its heyday.
There you go.
With the screeching red line coming in and the buses and the trackless trolleys, they called it.
That wasn't
Bunker Hill. The Brits will love that.
Yeah. That wasn't their heyday.
Right.
I don't think Sullivan Square ever had a heyday. But anyway, that's another show. Thank you, everyone out there, for listening. And this is Mac for the entire gang saying, till you hear us next time, be safe, be happy, and
bye-bye.